Howdy, this is James. I've got another set of YouTube channel suggestions for you. This is just kind of my version of a shout out to some of the channels that I enjoy watching. I did the first one about 4 months ago, not long after I rebooted the channel, and since that time I've been putting a lot of my own stuff out and being more involved in the YouTube community. And I've added a lot of channels to my favorites. I still watch those channels I had in the first video, along with some of the other bigger channels that either weren't in the video or I've discovered since then. But this time around I wanted to concentrate on the little guys. The channels that are under 1,000. Well, when I first decided to do another one of these, all of them were under 1,000 subscribers. That's not the case, since one of them actually passed 1,000 recently. But I still wanted to include it because he is still one of us. You know, he is still one of the struggling little channels looking up the ladder and saying, you know, maybe one day I'll be up there. And no matter how many subs he gets, I think he'll always be one of us. I do want to point out this is not a ranking. Now, I'm not saying one of these channels is better than another, and it's just, they're just the channels, some of the channels that I enjoy watching. It's tough for me to choose favorites because I do have such varied interests, and it might just depend on my mood at the time as far as what I want to watch. I do that with a lot of stuff. I can listen to AC/DC and switch to George Strait without blinking an eye. You know, I can watch a gritty dialogue-driven movie like Reservoir Dogs, but you know, I can turn right around and watch, you know, turn off my brain and watch something like Road Trip. Yeah, I enjoy both of them the same. So this is just channels that I like to watch. I normally do 5. But this time around I'm going to do 6 because a couple of these channels actually kind of go together. And we also have a bonus, a kind of honorable mention, if you will. Speaking of less than 1,000 subs, I do want to mention that I recently passed 150 subscribers. So I want to mark that milestone. Give thanks to all the subscribers. Most of these guys on this list have left 150 in the dust, and they have bigger milestones on the horizon. We're going to start with one that has already passed a pretty big milestone, but we need Laney the subscription monkey to get us started. I thought I had made a nice little discovery when I came across Shana Rockin Boxes. I don't even remember how I ended up on his channel, but I'm sitting there watching some of his stuff, and I really liked the way he had things set up and the way he put stuff together. I found his videos very entertaining, and I thought, hey, here's somebody I can pass along to this, you know, circle of YouTubers I'm becoming familiar with since, you know, I've been more active. And well, it turns out, because this circle is always growing, he was already in that circle. Everybody else already knew about him. I was just on the other side of that circle from him, so. But it's still pretty cool that, you know, I found him the old-fashioned way. It wasn't in someone's live stream. It wasn't part of a sub-for-sub thing. I just stumbled across his channel and I liked his content. So, like me, he's had his channel for a good while. Also, like me, he's really only been pushing it to grow over the last few months. Unlike me, he seems to know what he is doing, and he's doing it very well. So, go check him out. I recommend his video on the shooting locations of the 1983 comedy Strange Brew. I really enjoyed that one. That brought back some memories for me. And you know, I've sometimes wondered if Canadians knew that movie had a lot of us teenagers in Texas calling each other hoser. came across this channel thanks to Sean Rockin Boxes. Sean posted a video about the Bottom of YouTube Awards, and I was like, what? Is that actually a thing? So I did a search, and there was this channel, and a fairly new channel that last I looked anyway had just over 300 subs. Or I think he was pretty close to 400. It may have had more than that now. One of the things I love about this is the way the Bottom of YouTube Awards started. You can plan things out and decide, okay, I'm going to try this. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I love it when something is just totally organic. You know, this little seed sprouts up out of the ground and grows to something you totally didn't expect. And that's what happened with the Bottom of YouTube Awards. You know, it started as this little joke, and as the joke goes, grew into an enormous one. It was just an offhand comment that led to an award show for the Bottom of YouTube. And I thought he did a great job assembling the whole thing and getting other YouTube creators to participate. And I know there was some backlash because, God forbid, anybody have any fun doing this, but hopefully it won't sour the red cow from doing the award show next year. And I hope I've got his background right. I'm going to feel stupid if it turns out, you know, this guy had this big channel before. but as far as I know, he's still pretty new at this. Go check out his channel. He's got a lot of funny stuff on there. You know, he recently did a great Christmas special too, which reminds me, he gets help from Mrs. Bottom O on some of these videos. We can't fail to mention her. You'll also find there is a certain notable YouTuber he takes some issues with. I won't say who it is. You'll just have to check out his channel to find out. If I could trade places with one man for one moment, I might pick trading places with the steel one at the Denver Comic Con a few months ago. Yes, that is the real Felicia Day, stroking Rich's beard, and that picture. And you can fill in your own joke about stroking here if you'd like. But dirty minds aside, I probably would have been breathing as hard as he was after that happened, which he did it all on her own. You could tell it wasn't something he was expecting to happen. Anyway, Rich has some really cool videos. One of the things I like is that he doesn't just do one thing. You know, he explores abandoned areas and reportedly haunted areas. He also does subscription boxes, which I've been thinking about pulling the trigger on one of those. Can't really decide which one, but he got a really good one about a month ago. I believe it's called A Box. And now some of those boxes you pay $30 to $40 and get about $20 worth of stuff. And he did an unboxing video on this A Box, and it looked really cool. It's kind of got me thinking about getting that one. He does some vlogs, you know. He went live for the first time a couple of months ago. Watching his Funky Food Challenge video, I can tell we would at the very least agree that beets are not something to be eaten. They should probably just be left in the ground. As far as my favorites, I would recommend the abandoned Colorado Springs Speedway, which he found out after the fact that he was trespassing, but he didn't get in any trouble on that one. And of course, the Denver Comic Con video is pretty cool. And there's one where he's exploring an abandoned motel, and I think it's Rogan. I think it's pronounced Rogan, Colorado. That was a pretty cool one, and it was also a collaboration video he did, which leads us to the next channel. Rich and George have done a couple of collaboration videos. They live close to each other and are friends on and off of YouTube. I was introduced to George's channel through What's Paranormal, and maybe the first video of his I ever watched made me jealous. It was a trip to the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. That's where they filmed The Shining, which is one of my favorite movies. And there are a lot of reports of paranormal activity going on there. It was awesome to watch that video and kind of get a George eye view of the inside of it. George has a lot of content, does a lot of live streams and participates in the challenges. And one thing that makes me nervous for him is he does go on some of these paranormal investigations by himself. And I don't recommend anybody does that, but if you want some white knuckle viewing for yourself, check out his haunted road videos. Some people criticize him because he's smiling real big in a lot of times, but he's one of those guys that when he gets nervous he starts laughing. He starts smiling real big. I'm kind of the same way. I'll chuckle a little bit if I get nervous. But George, if you're watching, be careful out there. One of these days you're going to fall on a mountain and nobody will be there to help you out. So take somebody with you. I do feel like I owe George a place on this list, though, if for no other reason, just the mileage that I've gotten out of this. If you're a cat lover like me, you'll really enjoy Shana's Catopia, if I can say it right. Shana's Catopia. Had cats for years. They were family pets. The oldest one out of them died at 17 years old, and after that I didn't know if I could even have a pet again. But I've always liked cats, and I get a kick out of seeing them play. But her channel's not all about cats. She got a dog too, buddy. She does a lot of outdoor videos of just taking a walk and looking at the countryside, and that actually has inspired me to do the same kind of thing. Well, once it warms up, anyway. I'm not getting out there right now, but I got out for a walk the other day, and I'd forgotten how nice it was to just be outside and taking a stroll. And she has some really cool outdoor videos, and also some dollar store hauls, and she is branching out. Shana and her husband joined me and Amy and Laney from What's Paranormal for our follow-up investigation at Concho Indian Boarding School. We're pretty far apart from each other, but this place was about the same distance from both of us. So they met us there, and it was the first time that they had done a paranormal investigation or gone to an abandoned location, and they did a great job. They came in and weren't even shy about going off on their own to look around. Shane even caught something we missed in part of one of the videos. So it was great having them there. And speaking of her husband, Shana's husband Danny had a really cool idea to do a video just on the artwork at Concho Indian Boarding School. And there's a guy that comes back once a year and adds to the murals on the wall, and Danny made a video of just the art. And he also did a great job during the investigation. He even jumped down a hole that was in the floor that led to what we think was some kind of maintenance thing under the building. I'm too fat and old, and it was too cold for me to be jumping in any holes. But he jumped right down there and looked around. And his channel, Roadkill Review, as he touches on in the description, it's not a review of Roadkill, neither the video game or the dead animals on the highway. What he does have might surprise you considering the name. There's some great outdoor stuff on the Roadkill Review, and including some quote-unquote pets aside from the cats and dogs, and of course the video of the murals at Concho. It was great being with Danny and Shana and What the Paranormal and Concho. And I know there are a lot of collaboration videos out there. And of course, I've done several collaboration videos with What's Paranormal, but I don't know how often 4 different channels have been represented at one location, or if it's really ever happened. I don't really know, but I was saying something to Amy about it, and she reminded me that technically there were 5 different channels at the location. Lainey from What's Paranormal has her own channel aside from the one she does with Amy. She does cooking videos and stuff like that. She's had her sister in one of them and brings her grandmother in. And of course, Amy has been in one of the videos. And she doesn't have a ton of content yet since she put so much time into What's Paranormal and trying to nail down a full-time job, which isn't easy around here, I'll tell you that. But we're going to make her an honorable mention here and go check out her channel as well. I think she's, I believe they said she's planning on doing her first live stream this Saturday as I'm posting this. So that would be December 30th. Yeah, December 30th. So just before the new year. Well, that's the channels I'm recommending this time around. All the links are in the description. Maybe I can help trickle a subscriber or two towards some of these channels, and I'll pop up with one of these every now and then, and try to keep it around 5 channels per video. That way people aren't flooded with names and links, and maybe it helps the ones I name stand out a little bit. Like I say, links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, give the channel a look. I believe I'm at 152 subscribers. If you want to be 153, subscribe, ring the bell, hit the like button. Hope you stick around. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.